Greetings, wonderful writers. I hope you're doing well. And here we are on to day 2 of what will be our Dahl essay. Now, don't forget, we're going to be using a graphic organizer to organize our thoughts and being able to put it onto a piece of paper that sounds really good before we start getting to the nitty gritty or the meat and potatoes of writing this thing. But remember, a lot of the writing can be done for you based upon what you do in your research. So here we are. Make sure that you go to today's lesson, which will be lesson 2, writing the body of the paragraph. But we're going to be going and toggling between our graphic organizer, so make sure you open this up. Remember, it's inside of Google Classrooms, and I'm going to show you exactly where that is right now. And when you go into Google Classroom, there will be, boom, right here. It's going to be the Dahl Graphic Organizer right there. So pop that on up. So you can see up here they have Dahl Graphic Organizer. You're going to see I have the curriculum. I'm going to also open up one other tab too that might be helpful for some of you. You have the option of doing this. You don't have to, but I think it works pretty good too sometimes. If I go to Amplify, and you'll see I have 2 Amplify tabs open. And you guys will open up right to your apps when you go to your landing page. And if I go to the library, you can see that I have the book that we've been reading, which is going to be Boy. So continue to reading. Now this just looks a little bit different than what we're used to. So you can come over here and see the table of contents, author's notes, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, and the matron right over here. And you can see our highlights over there too as well. So if you feel it's easier for you to go back into this book versus right over here. Let me see. And maybe it is here. There it is. It will be on 4-2, lesson 2, activity 2. So that's where you can find it as you're going back and forth, finding your evidence. But for those of you, you should have already have done this, okay? You should have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 different pieces of evidence. If you didn't, make sure you do that first. And I'm going to put this on pause because I'm going to do mine really quick so I can show you the next steps of the writing, which is going to be our reasons. So bear with me. So I just want to show you one more time about finding my evidence. So I'm going to go back over here. And right here, I like this piece of evidence. She was a small, skinny old hag. And the reason why I like that evidence is because it shows that Dahl, at this point in his life, probably isn't very kind to that the boys were the problem. And you can see that because he also was referring to Mrs. Pratchett as a hag. So now I'm going to show where I got that from, which is going to be right here, which is going to be the bicycle in the sweet shop, and then it was paragraph 25. So I'm going to come over here. And I think it was paragraph 25. Notice that I'm putting the proper punctuation. Now, today's meat and potatoes of the lesson, as I like to say, or sharpening your tools for your writing, is going to be this. Right here, I already put one sentence that matches up my Y for A. And then I'm going to come down here, and I said some are funny, some are painful, and some are pleasant. I suppose that is why I have always remembered them so vividly. Now remember, my claim was this, that the boys were the troublemakers. And we're going to make that a little bit better, that sentence, in a minute. Boys were the troublemakers. So I need to explain how this sentence right here relates to that the boys were the troublemakers. There we go. It's a compound word. Troublemakers. So I'm going to say because, oops, let me go back. Dahl says that some of the stories are funny. I think that this shows how he was causing trouble and pranking Mrs. Pratchett. Now I'm going to go to C. Her name was Mrs. Pratchett, and she was a skinny old hag. So now I'm going to give my reason, explanation or reason why I think that that shows that he was a troublemaker. When Dahl says that Mrs. Pratchett is, let me make this a little bit bigger for you so you can see it. Mrs. Pratchett is a skinny old hag. It shows that he has little respect for his elders. Now, one of the things I want to show you as a writer is that I have it shows that, and I did that right here, shows again. So I'm going to choose a different word. So I might come up to here and say, what is a different word for shows in explaining how somebody is different? And let's see if they give me some. I might not say highlights, demonstrates, reveals, indicates. I'm going to say displays. So I'm going to come over here. The old hag, it displays. Okay. Now the next step. Now this is going to be almost my first paragraph is done. Okay. It's almost done. So I'm going to show you what, but now inside of today's lesson, we're asking to do a claim that is a little bit more sophisticated. So watch, I'm just going to, for my developing writers, as my claim, I'm going to just copy and use this. It says, write one sentence that clearly states the claim that you want to develop for your essay. If you want to copy this, you can. Now, my claim up here is this. The boys were the troublemakers. That's not a very good sentence, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to copy what I have there and write, I don't like the way this looks up here, so I'm just going to retype it. Oops. Dahl describes the boys are as causing more trouble than the adults because they, now watch this, I'm going to take this and delete it now so I can see my sentence, because now watch, I'm going to connect A, B, and C to my writing. Watch this. This is called parallelism, which means I'm going to talk about really quickly up here in one word that shows that will tie down into here. This one word up here, but it will tie to that, which also ties into A, B, and C. And then we're going to put this all together. Adults, because they were desperados. Okay, see that right there? Desperados. Okay, I'll fix that later. I would just want to, okay, we'll do it real quick. Boom, comma. Some were funny and some were painful. I suppose that is why I've always remembered them so vividly. We're going to say, he remembers funny stories, pranking others. Now notice how this right here is related to this. And then my last one, notice the commas in a series, okay, right here. There's one idea, two ideas, and then my last one, which is going to be related to this. And he states that elders are, and he says something mean about her. I'm trying to think about a way to say this. She was a skinny old hag without having to say skinny old hag. And he states that elders are old and ugly. Now notice how skinny old hag is the same as old and ugly. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Now, that is what we're doing right there. That is a perfect example of getting ready to put our paragraph 1 together. And I'm going to pause it for a second. So the next thing is you're going to want to open up the Dahl argumentative essay, which is right here. It will look like this. Now we're going to be going back and forth to our Google Slides, and notice how this is what I want to do first. First thing I want to do is this. Watch now, I'm going to be copy, cutting, and pasting. So if I'm moving too fast for you, if you want, you can do this first. Make sure that you put your punctuation in the correct spot, okay? We're going to put quotes there, here, okay? Now I know my colors here are different, and that's fine. Make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. Boom, and boom. And then watch. Let's start with our evidence first, okay? Boom. I'm gonna go like this. I have these things up here. If I accidentally put my cursor over it, it will change to different things. But to get rid of it, just hit return. Now there's my first one. I'm gonna get rid of the A here, okay? And now I'm going to go back over here and put in what is where I found it. Now we can see that these are different sizes. I will change that in a minute. Now I'm going to go to my reason over here. Right this. Okay. Now do know that I'm copy, cutting, and pasting right now. So I have to go back after I copy, cut, and paste this all together and make sure that it makes sense. I'm just getting all of my information, all my thoughts together in one area, but I still have to edit. So let me go back. I'm going to put this. Now remember, I need to follow this format. We're going to do yellow and pink. We'll do the green last. So, and boom. Okay, I've got my comma. Now I'm going to put where I got my evidence, which is right here. Okay. I should put a period after this. You can see I did it up here, and maybe I'll put it down here. Okay. Like this. And I'm going to pause this so you'll see things move real quick. Okay. I'm just going to show it to you because I think it might be better if you watch the process. So then that was B. Now I'm going to come back over to C. Okay. Highlight this. Boom. Come over here. Okay. Now I'm going to put where I found that. Oops, take that period out of there. Okay, and now I'm going to find where I got that. I got it right here. And then I need to put my reason why. I think I made a mistake. I did. Okay, and here's my mistake. I'm going to separate this. Let's do here. Okay, right here, I forgot to put my reason why right here. So I'm going to go back and do this. That was my reason why for my second sentence, which is B, right here. Boom. I'll put that there. And I need to put my reason down here. I have two periods. Get rid of one. Let's go back over here. Okay. Boom. And there we go. Now, next thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to connect these because they're all part of one paragraph. Okay. And you want to make sure that all of your sentences look correct, or they look the same. You can see that some of these are bigger than others because I was copy, cutting, and pasting. But the last thing I want to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to get my claim. Because remember, we're moving the claim down to the bottom. So I'm going to go right here. okay? Now, I still have more to add, okay? I have basically taken all of this graphic organizer, I copied it, I went evidence A, or I'm just going to use colors. Yellow A, pink A. And don't forget about that stuff. Yellow B, pink B. Yellow C, pink C. That is all of that in this order, okay? And then I took my paragraph, what is my opinion, or my claim, excuse me, and remember I said I needed to move it down below the pink. That is the big difference between what I used to teach you, and that is right down in here, okay? Now, I need to make this all the same size. So I'm going to highlight all of it, and I'm probably going to go 14. Now, you see how some of it's bolded? So I'm going to change it to bold. So, and then I'm going to undo it so it all looks the same. And then I have some font that looks different than others, so I'm going to change it to all one font. So I'm going to do Comic Sans. But it's still some are bolded, which is really interesting. So let me try this again. That's just, okay, I can live with that. At least it's all the same size and same font. This needs to come over here. Now, that's where we're going to leave it for today. We'll continue working on this tomorrow with the next step.